All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? What a day to be a Colts fan. I know there's a lot left to do, but Chris Ballard really jumped out there and finally did something. Everybody was so upset because, tampering period, and they're like, he didn't do anything. We're going to get into what he did in just a moment, but first and foremost, Loyalist, how are you doing?
I'm doing better, much better after I've seen some of these trades.
Awesome. I want to give a shout out real quick to someone who used the link in the description on the tip jar. Drop $5 in the tip jar. Rigoberto Sanchez says, "Go Colts." Colts Law, where's the scouting reports and film on the prospects for my alma mater? Well, my guy, no offense. Love you. But there's not a whole lot of prospects coming out of Hawaii that I'm really big on right now. There might be a few. There's a good possibility, but right now it's free agency, and free agency means I need to go and do film rooms on free agents. And so, I'm not going to do one on Yannick Ngakoue because I did one on him last season when I wanted him to come to the Colts, and it's a perfect fit, and now we're going to talk about it. Colts Nation, the Indianapolis Colts, Chris Ballard traded Rock Ya-Sin, in my opinion, the most improved Indianapolis Colts from last year, from the year before last to last year, to the Las Vegas Raiders for defensive end pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue. This, by far, was a Gus Bradley move. This was a situation where Gus said, you want to get me a Leo? Go get Yannick from the Raiders. The Raiders went off and traded for who I wanted by far, which was Chandler Jones. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'll take a younger, very similar style player in Yannick Ngakoue, and he'd be cheaper, okay? I think Yannick has incredible upside, and I think he is going to be an absolute beast beside DeForest Buckner playing that Leo spot. Loyalist, what were your thoughts on this trade?
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is how it worked for me, okay? Because it was like I seen Chandler Jones going to the Raiders, and I was like, gosh darn it, because to your point, he was somebody I was really sort of very hoping that the Colts would take a shot at and stuff. But to your point, then you sit there and you find out, okay, but now they're getting rid of Yannick Ngakoue. I'll have to get better on saying that one. And, and I hate losing Rock because the dude finally stepped up in his final year of a contract. But I like this on the fact that both of them have 1 year left on their contracts. Rock is going to, fill a need that the Raiders have and stuff. And the nice thing is we get Ngakoue. Hopefully we can re-sign him. I'm really hoping we can, sort of ink that deal and get that to be a 3 or 4 year contract. But to your point, I mean, this fits so wonderfully. And remember we were talking about, get Gus Bradley and let him find out what he evaluates the team and what are some of the pieces, So the fact that, we can sit there and get somebody that has really performed well last year, I'm super hyped. And now if we can get that whole Max Crosby effect on the other side, plus Defoe getting a little freed up. I mean, good heavens, this D-line could be impressive.
You bring up the Max Crosby effect. That's a simple fact. Yannick Ngakoue played the opposite side of Max Crosby. Max Crosby, under Gus Bradley, with Yannick, really stepped up his game last year and led the NFL in quarterback hits and pressures by a mile. And now you're going to have Kwity Paye and Tyquan Lewis guaranteed over there because those guys are on the roster now. Love the fact that that Chris Ballard went out and re-signed him for a cheap, what was it, $3 million? For a 1 year, $3 million. Great deal sitting here. I love seeing that. I'd like to see him go get Kimoko Toure for another 1 year prove it deal, because I think he'd be great on the opposite end as well. But Yannick Ngakoue, this is a situation. Now, like I said, I loved Rock Ya-Sin. I wish him the best over in Las Vegas. But this is going to help our pass defense. I get it. We're losing coverage. But with Yannick over there, they're not going to have to cover as long. So you don't have to have your, 15 top end lockdown corners out there doing their job. All right, we still have some young guys over there. Obviously, Kenny Moore. And obviously we had another guy from last year step up over there on the opposite end. I think he's going to do a little bit better as well. But straight up, man, this was amazing. Amazing deal.
And I think it also sheds a lot of light on what the Colts think of Isaiah Rodgers. Playing that cornerback and getting a chance to, elevate his game to that next level. And not to mention, okay, it's a lot easier, especially with the Colts not having a first round pick. It's going to be a lot easier to find a cornerback or something with the draft capital that we have versus trying to find that Yannick Ngakoue type talent at the DN's position.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to find something like that in the NFL, especially for $13 million. And that's all we're paying this year, $13 million. It's a great deal. You talked about an extension possibly. You might be looking at one coming up. It depends upon what Chris Ballard is looking at. A trade like this, Rock was on his last end of his contract as well. Yannick is on a 1 year contract. Now Yannick's going to be, I think, 27 at the end of this month. Still young. Very young, not even 3 years away from 30. He's got three seasons before he even hits 30 years old. He's got great speed, great bend, and he plays the run pretty good as well. I think the Indianapolis Colts fans will absolutely love having him beside DeForest Buckner. This just means that Buckner's going to get less double teams, because I think Yannick is going to get a few of those as well.
Yeah, and he brings that grit, that toughness that we've been saying that we'd like to see a little bit more from the D-line. He brings back what I felt like the Colts really missed out on with Danico Autry leaving for the Titans last year. I feel that we get that dog mentality, that never giving up on a play type mentality when we pick up a Yannick Ngakoue.
Absolutely. Guys, we're about 8 minutes in. Please don't forget, smash that like button before you forget. It helps our analytics a ton, and I appreciate it very much. So does Loyalist. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. And it's free agency. It's official, so there's going to be a lot of free agent film rooms dropping. I promise you. I've already got a few. There'll be more. Now, with that, let's talk about some other moves that the Colts got. The Colts did pick up a cornerback from the Raiders. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. Loyalist can't either. I haven't really looked hard. From what I understand, he's not a bad corner. I guess the Raiders fans liked him quite a bit. So we'll see. I think he's going to be a depth piece. A guy that, we really sorely missed last year on depth. So, but I still feel like we need another cornerback, right? We need to go get another one, whether it's in free agency, whether we get one in the draft, either way, there's still a spot we need to get. Obviously, the Indianapolis Colts re-signed Mo Alley-Cox for a big 3-year, $6 million a year, I think it was, or was it 8? I can't remember. I think it was 6.
Yeah, just $18 million for 3 years.
Yeah. So I said that needed to be done. Should have been one of the first things to happen. Guess what? It was.
Yep.
It was. And I knew it, he's a guy who has upside as a receiver, but he's excellent as a blocker. And with Jack Doyle being retired, it just needed to happen. Still leaves a roster spot open for the Colts to make a move for another tight end. You got Mo Alley Cox, you got Kylan Granson. Colts generally keep 3 tight ends on their roster. They could go out and get themselves, another receiving tight end if that's what they're looking to do in free agency or in the draft. So don't worry, the signing of Mo Alley Cox does not limit whether or not we could go out and get, say, I don't know, an Austin Hooper.
Yeah. Yeah, and he happens to be on the free agency market now. And that's the beautiful thing about what Chris has done is, he's not dealing in free agency, but what he's doing is he's going through and he's scooping up some of the valuable little nuggets that are being, part of that trimming the fat, for these teams and stuff to get under the cap limit and stuff at the start of the year. We talked about this. We sat there and said, a lot we would find out a lot about who our next quarterback is going to be once the Deshaun Watson situation falls in. Once that domino falls, I think we'll probably know shortly thereafter. Like you said, you get this Ngakoue, and I understand. I'm bummed about losing Rock because we pulled so hard for him and he did produce and stuff. But it's not like, the kid's not being rewarded. I'm sure he's going to go over there and have a great year with the Raiders. And who knows, he may be back next year as far as we know how this thing works out.
Yeah, Rock was the best graded cornerback on the Colts last season and did not have a single DPI last year, which is amazing considering how many he had the year before and the year before that, right? So it is awesome. Hey, I want to shout out real quick to Fuzzy Whistler, who used the link in the description right here to donate. He drops $5 in the tip jar. I appreciate that very, very much. Guys, I just want to say you donated, but I don't see any kind of comment or anything in there. There's a lot of space. How much you donate by using the tip jar link down here, how much you donate does not limit what you can ask or comment in that link. You got like 2 big old sentences that you could ask or comment. So it's a little bit better than YouTube Super Chat. But hey, you know what? If it doesn't work, if the link doesn't work for you because you're using a credit card and for some reason it won't take it, feel free, use the YouTube Super Chat as well. Any donations that happen will definitely be used for us to bring more and better content to you. Guys, also, real quick, I was on Strong Opinion Sports, I think it was Monday, we recorded. We spent well over an hour, spent like 15 minutes talking about Tom Brady coming back. And then after that, it was all Colts. Sitting there with Zach Schomler. Just check it out after the stream. You can check it out. Strong Opinion Sports. You can see that. But if you don't want to miss anything that me or Loyalist does outside of Colts Law, you can join the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and you don't always hear airplanes going overhead when that happens.
Sorry about that.
It's not your fault. Yes, Jamie Miller asked, was the Rock trade a straight-up trade? Absolutely. There was nothing else added. It was Rock Ya-Sin for Yannick Ngakoue, and I'll take that 1,000,000 times over. But, yeah, $5 a month for my Patreon. Very, very simple. Link is in the description. And anytime we bring something out, it automatically goes there. You'll never miss anything. Plus, obviously, our Thursday night hangouts that we do and other stuff. So there's lots of great things that happen with the Patreon. Don't forget to check it out. Anything you want to talk about there, Loyalist?
I want to point out how much I really like how Ballard's handling the defensive side of things. Because, we've talked about it. The cornerback, Gus Bradley guy, had experience with them in the Raiders, and Ngakoue, once again, that experience and that familiarity and stuff. And let's not forget, we still got, Marvell Tell III, very similar to the cornerback that we picked up, Facyson, however you pronounce it. Like I said, we picked him up. They're very similar in size and stature. So I'm just, you get to sit there and watch that competition. At these positions and stuff, and And let's not forget, that the Chris Ballard's also sat there and found that depth last year, and this year he said, you know what, I'm going to keep a hold of some of that depth. So he sat there and got young Matt Pryor back under the wing of the Colts and stuff this year too. So I think
the Matt
that
Pryor signing.
Yeah, I think that could be a huge deal down the line.
Yeah, I completely and utterly forgot about the Matt Pryor. Great swing tackle. We still need to get our starting left tackle. I don't want Matt Pryor starting left tackle. But, again, that's something we can grab in free agency or the draft. But, hey, guys, you know who was really excited today? You know who was really, really excited today?
Yes.
Chris Ballard, thank you for going and getting Yannick Ngakoue. It's going to make my life so much easier. Go check out the Backroom Collection. They have a lot of great stuff that will really accentuate your living area. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. Well, we're about 16 minutes in. We got 32 viewers. Appreciate each and every one of you. There is a question. TJ Loves Boxing and Sports says, Law, are we getting Baker or Jimmy G? I am going to answer that right now. Baker Mayfield's going to get dropped by the Browns no matter what, and the Indianapolis Colts are working right now to go get him. Okay? That's who I am about 90% sure that the Indianapolis Colts' next quarterback will be Baker Mayfield. Okay? I'm just letting you know that up front. Now, obviously, it's the NFL and free agency. Anything can happen. Things can fall through. Some other team might jump in all out of nowhere and be like, we're going to give you something stupid for Baker Mayfield, and the Browns are like, okay, that happens, but right now, from what I'm understanding, Chris Ballard and company, Frank Reich, they're really in on trying to go get Baker Mayfield. Truett says, was that Rock leaving on a jet plane? It's possible. No, I don't think so, because as much as no. Cleveland's in driving distance, unless Irsay's like, Rock, I'm sorry, dude, use my plane, because you know how Irsay is. He's all cool like that. He does stuff like that all the time. So, guys, we're sitting here chilling, just talking about free agency. I have not looked at Twitter. I have not looked at anything that may or may not have happened since we went live. So if any breaking news, and please don't throw fake news in my chat. All right. Don't be like, the Colts got Deshaun Watson. I'll call you a liar. Even if it's true, I'll still call you a liar. Because there's no way, that happens. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. And if you want to make sure that we get to your question or comment, like I said, you can always use that tip jar on the donations link right there at the top of the description of the video. Avalon says, I got a question. Why are you beautiful people not hitting that like button? I promise you will have good luck if you do. Avalon,
I like it.
That's my wife.
Oh, okay. I still
You're
like
awesome.
it.
You're awesome, honey. Appreciate you. Random support dropping $5 in the tip jar. Appreciate that. How is Eason developing? Is he a backup or does he still have starting potential? This says Tony Eason. I don't know who Tony Eason is. I know who Jacob Eason is. Let me look this up real quick because Jacob Eason's not on the Colts anymore. Okay?
No.
Tony Eason is a quarterback from 1959.
Okay. I imagine he's looking a little rusty then, right about now.
Little bit. He was a Patriots quarterback.
That's
actually.
yeah. That's who I was just like.
But if you're talking about Jacob Eason, I'm not 100% sure how he's developing because I'm pretty sure he's still a Seattle Seahawk. The Indianapolis Colts let him go thinking they were going to somehow squeeze him on the practice squad, and no fourth-round pick is going to go to the practice squad. So that's pretty much what happened. So,
Especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah, especially when he actually played pretty good during preseason that year, right?
Yeah.
At least I think so. Rumor has it the Colts are looking at Honey Badger. I don't. Why? We have good safeties at starters. We need depth, but we have good safeties at starters, especially at free safety. I'll take Julian Blackman over the Honey Badger any day. Okay? Especially at his price.
Yeah, and I think our secondary, especially at that safety position, I feel like they've got enough of that veteran leadership now. I mean, Kari Willis is getting ready to start year 4. Blackman, getting ready to start year 3. So I mean, these guys, that need for that veteran leadership and stuff, and to help develop that communication, I don't think it's really as big of a thing as it was maybe last year or the year prior.
So, guys, obviously it's still early. It's a lot of free agency still left to go through. Who are you wanting Chris Ballard, hoping Chris Ballard will go get? Obviously, I'm still rooting for Allen Robinson. Let's go, Ballard. Let's go get Allen Robinson and then finish off that Baker Mayfield thing, and then we will have an offense. Now, we'll still need a left tackle, but, that would be – and we got room for it. We got room in the cap, my guys. We absolutely do. We'll have 20. What did I say?
28. I want to
26.
say it was like
26,
yeah,
I think. $26 million in cap space if we go get Baker Mayfield. Okay? Left. Still free. Okay? And you could and if you sign Allen Robinson to a long-term deal, you can kind of backload that a little bit. Now, obviously, we still need to. Are we going to extend Quentin Nelson? I would hope so.
Yeah.
But with the way Chris Ballard has been running around doing things as of late, who knows? Inside the Horseshoe podcast says I'd like to see him get Robinson or Scantling. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Small says, I can't believe Allen Robinson is still out there. It's because it was no one worth their salt is going to sign right away, okay?
Yeah.
Especially during tampering. They're just running around getting, deals. Figuring, unless there is a specific place that you specifically want to go for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Or another team just like way overpays, like Christian
Kirk.
Yeah. But yeah.
And the thing is this draft is so deep with talent. And honestly, you start looking at the landscape of college football. Every year, that draft is going to have a nice collection of wide receivers. So I'm not saying that these guys aren't going to get paid, but it's not going to be quite as easy to find that right fit and stuff. You know what I mean? And they may have to sit there and set that bar here and acknowledge that this is really where they're only going to get paid and stuff.
Absolutely. I still say I want Ballard to re-sign a few more guys. Obviously, Reed is somebody that needs to be re-signed, in my opinion, because if you don't, then you have Pinter over at guard, right? Now, no offense, I like Pinter, but I'd rather him be a backup, a swing backup on the interior, whether guard or center. That's where I'd like to see him be right now, currently. Since Mark Lewinsky already signed, I believe it was with the Giants for a pretty good deal. I think it was $8 million a year or something like that for 3 years. I think that I believe we really do need to re-sign Reed. There's still a few other guys out there like a Kamoko Toure, a guy who had the best pressure percentage on the Colts last year, period. Only playing 20% of the snaps, still had like 6 sacks and a bunch of quarterback hurries. Is a guy, and he was pretty healthy. He missed, I think, 2 games. That's it. So I'd like to see him come back. Inside the Horseshoe says, I hope we still bring Teray back. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Larry Brown says Trent Brown and Jarvis Landry. A lot of Browns names coming up, guys. A lot of Browns names coming up. All right.
See, but now here's my question, okay? If you're targeting Baker Mayfield, I kind of feel like that takes the Jarvis Landry piece of that puzzle out because of the way things sort of were tumultuous between the two of them and stuff. You know what I mean? So, and the thing is I mean, I like Jarvis Landry, but he doesn't. We've got Naheem Hines who can play the slot. We've got Paris Campbell. Okay, and I understand Paris Campbell's not a proven thing, but are you really going to want to go and sign a guy, basically $12 million a year, if that, for a slot receiver that can sprinkle a little bit on the outside? I mean, you look at Robinson, and I just feel like that's a much better fit for what the Colts need. And like I said, this is not me hating on Jarvis Landry. I seen that name and I started thinking about it, and we had a nice little discussion in Discord, and these guys, like I said, I like Jarvis Landry. I just don't think that that's a piece for this particular team.
I like Allen Robinson because he is an all-around wide receiver. He can do just about anything you ask him to do. Playing slot, outside, left, right, run, block, doesn't matter. He will go out. He will do it. You want to throw a 50-50 ball, he's more than happy to go grab one. But the thing that might hold him back is price. I'm pretty sure he's going to get $18+ million. Random Support dropped another $3 into the tip jar. Says, I had the wrong name. My bad. Thought he was still a Colt. Is Hilton retiring or is Ballard bringing him back? That's an interesting question. When it comes to T.Y. Hilton, right now, I'm looking at Spot Track. They have his contract as a dead cap. I don't understand how that is because his contract isn't. He doesn't even have a contract right now. So how that works is beyond me.
I think that was part of that restructuring that they done. Where they kicked a couple of it down to this year.
Yeah. But if he does come back, I think he'll be a cheap deal. He won't be a number 1. He won't be a number 2. Okay, I don't see it. I see him as more of a guy. I don't know if he'll come back at all, because the only reason he might come back is so that he could hang out with his boy Reggie Wayne for a little while, right? Because Reggie Wayne made it official and became the wide receivers coach, not the assistant coach. The wide receivers coach for the Indianapolis Colts. Are you kidding me? Reggie Wayne has got so much knowledge up here when it comes to being a wide receiver. I mean, he was taught by maybe the best possession receiver in the history of football, Marvin Harrison, because at least sideline possession. Like, there's not a guy out. He invented toe drag swag. He mastered it. It wasn't even toe drag. It was limp leg, right? That's what it was. He caught that ball and his legs just went limp, right? And it was just an amazing thing to see with Marvin Harrison. And then, of course, Reggie Wayne is not afraid to go out there and put that work hat on and bust his butt, and he expects that from his guys as well. So expect some really good results out of this offseason for the Indianapolis Colts and the wide receivers. But I don't know about T.Y.
Yeah, and absolutely, T.Y. has. I think he also has the 10,000. Trying to get that 10,000 yards for the Colts. I think that's something that's fairly high. And I also feel like, listening to T.Y. talk a couple days ago, he even said that, he's looking, and I think he understands that his role would be different for a team this year versus what he thought it would be last year. Last year, he was looking to be, that number one, number two guy. This year, I think he's looking more of, okay, I may not be 30, 35 catches.
We're losing you really, really bad, Loyalist.
Okay, I will cut out, and I apologize.
All good. While he comes back, I just want to talk and say, Fuzzy sitting here says no to TY. I appreciate everything he did, but it's time. Shreyla says expecting Reggie to show up in camp in a work truck. He's done that before, in a dump truck, right? So yeah, Reggie, I expect great things out of him. I'm amazed that they were able to get him as a wide receivers coach, honestly, being that he was an analyst, right, for NFL.com. I thought he was just freaking spectacular. Very happy. One thing I will say, a lot of pushback on the Baker Mayfield thing, and yet Baker improved from his rookie year to his second year, and then in his third year, he had Pro Bowl type numbers, got the Browns to the playoffs, won a playoff game. I believe they were 11-5 that year, and then last year he tears up his shoulder, torn labrum, which he played through, and I think he had a knee issue as well, or something in that general vicinity, a lower body injury that he tried to play through, and that's why he looked so bad last year. So I'm going to look at more along the lines of not what Baker Mayfield did last year, but the year before, as to whether or not I like Baker. And what I saw the year before, Baker Mayfield was really, really good. Going back to the Reggie Wayne thing there, Loyalist, what were you talking about?
I'm sorry, and I don't know am I sounding okay and everything now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry guys. Thing is Reggie, and this is not, once again, I'm not throwing shade at Reggie, but Reggie didn't have ridiculous speed. He didn't have this ridiculous. What he had that he excelled in was hard work. Route running, precision route running. Now, you sit there, you look at the receivers that we have on this roster. You look at the Des Patman, the Michael Strom, even MPJ. All these guys. There is not a single lesson that Reggie Wayne could teach these guys that they wouldn't, I feel like, take one, maybe even two steps in improving their game. And the thing is you can't, you can sit there and talk about the nuances and stuff, but I think hearing it from a guy who's done it at such a high level on all levels. I don't care if it was regular season, playoffs, this guy stepped up and performed. And not to mention, that Ty's been hyping up for Reggie ever since these young guys start coming in, because he's always been really good about, praising Reggie and how he brought him into the league and Ty. And I just, man, I really like how they're mixing in this good level of experience in the coaching room, but also a lot of young, former players and stuff. And just, I really feel like that melting of generations is going to really help out this team as a whole.
Absolutely. Truett asked a question. If we get Baker, do we get Cleveland's wide receiver tight end for him? The names have been out there, right? A lot of Colts fans have brought up both Austin Hooper and Landry, right? So we'll see. I don't know, honestly. We do need to go get a wide receiver, whether it be, through free agency or in the draft. I think we definitely need someone opposite of Michael Pittman Jr., who's reliable. I love Paris Campbell, but let's face it, he's not reliable right now. So, I'm hoping, and like I said, we also have an open spot at tight end, even though we did re-sign Mo Alley Cox. Marquis Beverly says, I guarantee you that we will not have a lazy effort at all like the last two games of the season. The new coaches will light into them, and I wouldn't mind the hard coaching. Now, I have brought this up a couple times. I'm curious. The last 2 games of the season, the game before the last 2 games was against Arizona, and half the team missed due to COVID. And I don't know if any of you had COVID. I did. Okay? And it was right before the whole team had COVID, right? And it took me like 6 weeks in order to be able to breathe right and move around right. And so I'm wondering if maybe they shouldn't have even played. Those starters shouldn't have even played during that time if they had symptoms. You know what I mean? If they went through the symptoms prior, then their body was not. I'll guarantee you their bodies were not ready to play games after that. And that you would get the lackadaisical stuff from there. I don't want to blame it on that because every team goes through, something of that nature, but not every team goes through half their team going through it, all on the same week. So we'll see. I don't like the way the last 2 games of the year went. No one does. No Colts fan does. And there's so many things that we could point to point the blame and throw the finger at.
Yeah, and I have a particular finger I would like to use.
Right. Right.
But no,
go ahead.
I think that this team, first off, Austin Hooper. I would love to sit there and see the Colts look at him because you sit there and you look at that Cleveland team and the similarities. They have a good line. They had a good run game. Their tight ends were used in the run blocking very well. I mean, so this guy really could fit. And you know what? He's right there in the Chris Ballard basket right now. He's been released, so Chris Ballard just needs to go in and scoop him up.
Absolutely. This is so funny. I'm sorry. This was great. I was going to say something about Kincado. What up, my guy? Appreciate you being here. He's a Patriots fan. He comes in here and he says, "Hey, Lawrence, y'all could have N'Keal Harry for a 7th rounder." And Shrayless, always with the quick comebacks. I wouldn't trade N'Keal Harry for a fully inflated football. That's messed up. He ain't worth the extra air. That's so wrong. Truett wants to know what Reggie's driving into training camp. Well, we're going to find out in a couple months, right? Who knows? I mean, we've seen him come in multiple. I think he came in on an IndyCar once, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah. IndyCar, dump truck. I mean, definitely been enjoyable. Helicopters. He definitely was the one who made that. And that's the thing. Reggie brought that blue collar swag to things. I mean, he's like, look, I ain't out here trying to, wear all the bling and have all the ice and all that. He's like, I'm out here about doing the work on the field and then letting my play call talk for itself. And I would love to, and that's really what I feel like this receiving core is like already. So just keep teaching that and building that culture.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of people in here talking about them and what they went through with their COVID. I couldn't breathe, okay? I could not breathe. It took me 6 weeks before I could breathe right. And that was a problem, okay? I went 48 hours without sleep because I could not lay down. If I laid down, I would have suffocated, So, that was just a bad situation. Delusional Pats fan 7th. You can have Harry for a 9th round pick. That's awesome. He ain't even UDFA, right? All right, man. Cato, come on now. He brings up the working fake punt play. Yeah. Larry Brown, Allen Robinson, and Will Fuller, maybe? I think that's a bit too much to ask for. Two good wide receivers. I'll even say Will Fuller's not bad. He's a deep threat guy. Had issues sometimes staying healthy, but he's a good deep threat guy. I think that's too much money. That I don't think Ballard would go all in that way at the wide receiver spot. I do trust that Ballard will go and do something for the wide receiver position, I don't think he's going to go that deep. Brown says maybe Juju Smith-Schuster. He's been rumored to come with the Colts. I see it, but at the same time, I don't know if Ballard will be all about the TikTok dancing on other teams' logos and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and the thing is, it is so hard to bring a wide receiver, of Allen Robinson or whatever. Yeah, come on over, play for the Colts. Who's your quarterback? Hang on, I'll get back with you on that.
Our best quarterback right now is Frank Reich.
I mean, so it's really hard. I would have to imagine that's really hard to sit there and get some of these guys to get on board and stuff. But I think, like you said, let Ballard sort out the quarterback position, and I think we're going to start seeing a lot more. And Ballard doesn't do anything on day one anyhow. I mean, I honestly think Ballard just sat there and did these trades just to go, look, guys, I don't need free agency. I can do it my way.
Ooh, Larry Brown brings up Jamison Crowder. I'd be all about bringing Jamison Crowder in, okay? I really believe that he would be fantastic if he had a decent, play caller around him, a decent, well, let's be fair. We need a quarterback before we could say a decent quarterback, but I'm sure we'll have somebody at some point being able to throw to him. But what are your thoughts on Jamison Crowder?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to sit there and recall a lot of what he did this year, but I know of the player, and what I know of him, I like him.
Okay. I need to look at something real quick.
All right. Well, while he's looking at that, guys, I wanted to sit there and tell you, Lawrence has sat there and he's gone through the gift shop, and he's lowered a lot of these prices. He's gone through, the Patreons. He's keeping it at a level rate. He knows it's hard. He understands that money's tight for everybody. I mean, it's tight for us. We understand. So if you guys are looking for some sort of inflation, relief from inflation, just know that Lawrence and, what they're offering here is it stays solid.
Okay. Almond Butter says that Von Miller went to the Bills. Oh, if that's the case, that's nasty. Oh, Deep Patel says it as well. Yeah, that's nasty. They needed a good pass rusher. That was a good move by the Bills. Very, very. Everybody on the Bills was just like me, wanting, a certain Chandler Jones. But Von Miller, that's a good grab right there. Good grab. I still think that Yannick Ngakoue was the better move over Von Miller, just because of his age.
Oh, yeah.
And I think right now Chandler Jones is a better player than Yannick Ngakoue, but the fact of the matter is Chandler is at that age where you could start seeing some drop-off in the coming years, and Yannick is still he's in his prime. So, I can't really argue with the Yannick trade. But that's a good move. That's a good move by the Bills.
Man, this AFC the NFC, it just seems like it keeps falling further and further behind the curve. I understand the Packers kept Aaron Rodgers, but this AFC is just it is looking like they're even the easy games are going to be just an all-out slobber knocker.
Absolutely. A lot of people were talking about, that they'd be okay with Jimmy Garoppolo being the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. I dropped my Jimmy Garoppolo film room earlier this week. You're welcome to go check it out. It highlights what he does good, and he highlights what he just is limited in. Okay? And there's a lot of film for both, okay, where it shows lots of plays explaining everything. And I don't like Jimmy due to his limitations, okay? That's the one thing. What he does well, he does very well, and he would succeed for the most part with Indy in that situation. I will guarantee you Nyheim Hines would get 150 catches and 2,000 yards and whatever, Nyheim Hines would ball out with him at quarterback. But your downfield catchers will not. You're not going to get plays down the field with Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback. If you're sitting there 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, you end up getting a false start or a holding call, you're screwed. It is what it is with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, and I watched that film room, and I was surprised how poor his footwork was. I mean, I always thought, Jimmy had that stuff. I always just felt like it was his lack of arm strength and stuff. But, you sit there and you watch it, the film room, and I mean, his footwork is not, where you would want it to be to make up for that lack of arm strength. And I think that's like a double dipping on a weakness, and it just makes it really hard to look at him and be like, oh, I want this guy.
Shreyla said Ballard still needs to re-sign Quentin. He'll cost 22 plus of cap, not this year, because he is on his 5th-year option. Okay. When he re-signs it, it's an extension. All right, it's not a re-sign. It would be an extension onto that 5th-year option. And the only thing that would hit would be, a percentage of that bonus. And that can't be right. Inside the Horseshoe Podcast says 6-year deal, $120 million for Von Miller. If that's the case, holy crap. I mean, honestly, the Bills want Von Miller when he's 46. But I know it won't be. He'll be like 48 though. He's like 32, isn't he? Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Holy cow! That's unreal.
That's crazy.
There's got to be some outs in there after the first 2 years. I about guarantee it.
A lot of voidable years or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nathan 880 says, I hope we get Mayfield. Pretty sure we probably will. Like I said, in my opinion, Baker Mayfield, I can't look at what he did last year because he tried to play through injury and the Browns were just a mess at the time. But if you look at the years before, Baker got better and better and better and ended up playing very, very good football in 2020. Got his team to the playoffs, won a playoff game, all that. So Baker Mayfield is the best current option the Colts have available to them by a margin, in my opinion. The only guy I think that's on par with him is probably Derek Carr. I think that's kind of, but Carr's older. Mayfield's young. He's only going to be under $19 million this year. So I like that idea. Wow. My chat just blew up on me. So Joe B says, 6 year, 120 mil. Holy crap.
Yeah. I just looked it up myself. I was just like, that can't be. And I mean, only thing is wait till you see the contract. I mean, because wow, I and that's not a Buffalo type of thing to do. So, you got to feel like there's something there. Been a weird year in the league, though.
All right, Fuzzy Whistler, shoot me if you like. I'm not going to shoot you. It's your opinion, okay? He says that I maintain we have no business paying a guard 10% of the cap and hope to field a championship roster. The one thing I'm going to shoot back at you on this with, I'm not going to shoot you. I'm just shooting back, right? Quentin Nelson just doesn't make the left guard position better. He makes the left tackle position better. He makes the center better. He also is a guy on the field besides the quarterback that can walk right up to the coach or your GM and say what's on his mind, and that coach and GM will listen to him. It's been done before. It will happen again in the future. If there's a situation where he feels like, you know what, we're not running the ball enough, he's going to go over there and tell Frank Reich, let's get the pound in the stinking rock because we're having our way with them, and that'll happen. So, if you let trade Quentin Nelson off, bring someone else in, you're losing that leadership. Okay, so there's a lot there that Quentin Nelson brings besides just his play on the field.
Yeah, and to your point, it doesn't just affect on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I don't know if you guys have got to listen, but Tyquan Lewis, talking about, or was it Zaire Franklin? But one of the two were talking about, how there's just these alpha guys, and Quentin Nelson. He constantly mentioned how Quentin Nelson is helping that defensive line all across the line get better. You know what I mean? Whether it's the one-on-one drills, whether it's just the mentality. I mean, this team, I remember with the Peyton Manning era, everybody used to always call us soft. Everybody, that's what Quentin Nelsons of the world are alleviating, okay? They're taking that soft moniker. They're taking that, you know what, we're going to take this smash mouth football to the next level mentality. And I mean, that just so fits this team and quite honestly, has created its identity.
Company Eagle says Mayfield is on the same path as Luck with the shoulder. The only difference is this is not Mayfield's throwing shoulder. It was his non-throwing shoulder. It was Luck's throwing shoulder. So, big difference.
Yeah, not to mention that, this offensive line is a lot better than anything Luck ever had an opportunity to stand behind.
2018, that was the same. It still had Anthony Costanzo and Quentin Nelson and Braden Smith and Mark Glowinski. He had it, and he was the second least sacked quarterback in the NFL that year. Which was why it was just mind blowing that he retired that next offseason. Shrey says Maniac is the heart of the team. Q is its soul. That's a nice way of putting it, Shrey. I love that.
He's also the adopted GM for the team.
Extra rice, please. What's up? Appreciate you being in here. Says, do you think they'll move Blackman to quarterback now that they traded Rock? No, because Blackman is incredibly versatile in his utility. Okay, he can not only cover, but he can also come in and help in the run game if he needs to. And plus, being the free safety, he can play that single high and go wherever he wants and use that athletic ability. I like Blackman at the free safety spot. Leave him there. Go get another corner. I don't care if it's in the draft. I don't care if you go get it in free agency. Go get a different corner, guys. Fuzzy says the Rams just won a Super Bowl with guards costing roughly 3.5. You know what? And the Patriots won Super Bowls with a quarterback only costing them something like $15 million. Okay, that don't make any sense. Because I mean, you could look at it multiple different ways. There's been teams that's won with superstars at wide receiver, and then there's been teams that's won without superstars at wide receivers. Where the money goes, it doesn't really, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and the Rams didn't have Jonathan Taylor sitting in the backfield either. The Rams didn't have that ground and pound style, of football. Their roster was built differently because of the different style of football they play.
Yep. All right, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please smash that like button before we get out of here. I'm going to go ahead and drop one more ad before we get out, and that is going to be my news break ad. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Before I go, I'm going to answer one more question. And we'll have Loyalist answer it as well, because it's a good question. Andrew Salcido. Might have chopped that last name up. If I did, I sincerely apologize. Okay? I did my best, though. Biggest free agent you want currently that's available. Loyalist, I give it to you. Go.
I want a wide receiver now. We got our DN, we got our proven DN. I really want a wide receiver now. Those were my two. I wanted to go. I didn't want to be shopping mid-tier or bargain basement. I wanted top tier talent, proven talent, and I want it in the free agency, and I want it in the draft boat. I really do. I'm tired of sitting there and having this awesome team, but just a little short on the playmakers.
All right. So you didn't have an actual name that you want to bring up?
I do, but Allen Robinson. Like I said, it just fits so nicely, and I understand he may be asking for a bag, but you know what? Hey, we paid Defoe a bag, and look how well that worked out. If that can replicate itself, let's go.
Since he went free agent, I'm leaving quarterbacks out because there's not a quarterback that's a free agent that I would want on this team at all. Obviously, I think Baker Mayfield will be. I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield is going to be the Colts' next quarterback. I'm right with you. Allen Robinson, go get him, Ballard. Go get him. Spend a little bit of money. Backlog that. Make it a 4-year deal. I don't care. Backlog it. Make sure you got enough money to fill out the rest of your roster. This team would be studly at that point. Yeah. That's just my thought process. Guys, thank you so much. Please don't forget, smash that like button on your way out. And hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check out my film rooms that I've already dropped. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That was Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Chris Ballard wants to know who it is you want him to pick up next. Oh.